if you look at the SSID in my house, I have two different networks. One of them is the one for my general house, and then the other one is IO dirty things, the Internet of Dirty Things. And the reason I say that is because security for IoT is not part of IoT. And I know this is going to sound like heresy, but it shouldn't be. A $200 thermostat is not an IoT device. That's an internet-connected device. A $20 light bulb is not an IoT device. It is still a fairly sophisticated and expensive thing. IoT is devices that will be built by the same companies now that manufacture RAM flash drives, right? And we won't manage them the way that we manage everything else in IT. We won't do OS upgrades. We won't do detection for vendor and then have special access control list based on perceived vulnerabilities by vendor. They are at once going to need to be incredibly welcome and easy to put on our networks, and also considered hostile until proven innocent, and even then to be really skeptical about what they do. Because it used to be that for $5, you couldn't put any real intelligence into a device. But like Raspberry Pi Zero for $5, here's a Linux computer with all the wonder and potential abuse of a full Linux OS on that system. So the idea of sprinkling full operating systems with highly capable tool chains that can be easily abused for using superpowers for evil, IoT is potentially something we're going to have to really look at very, very carefully. One of the nice things about IoT is that it is forcing now already, a reconsideration about the way that we securely engage with networks. Forever, we have put the onus on the connecting device, or the human behind the connecting device, to prove who they are, to strong auth. So, well, to call an SSID password strong auth is a little bit incorrect, but you have to demonstrate that your desire to connect to that network is important enough to be trusted by that organization. But if you're talking about IoT, especially at the industrial sense, like let's say you want to do vibrational mode analysis on a set of CNC machines in a factory, where I'm going to have 10,000 sensors on 100 cutting machines in 10 locations, and they are all reporting back operational data. And I'm also watching failure mode so that I can start to detect what types of operation are going to affect errors or yield errors or failures of those machines, and then use that to then build different models. Or maybe I'm going to adjust my just-in-time inventory based on what's more efficient in ways that human beings wouldn't necessarily understand, because you're now using machine learning and AI to actually do now predictive analysis based on the data that's coming back from IoT. So lots and lots of data from IoT. But those sensors, I can't go put 1,000 or 10,000, or I think, what's the last estimate, 2024, 50 billion devices, whatever it is. Those things can't take 10 minutes each, or even a minute each to put on the network. So one of the things that I think we're going to end up with is almost, like when you walk around and you hope to find a Wi-Fi link for your phone, almost a universal platform for IoT device association. And whether it's devices in the home, or it's devices inside of a dedicated IoT network in a factory, or in a public setting, especially for municipal government, where you want to do kind of hyper-personalization, or being able to sort of enchant your environment based on an awareness of your identity. Those things are going to have to be invited, dirty as they are, into our networks in a way that we've never done that before. Which means that we get to revisit security at a broader sense, because security is so last minute and often overlooked. It's the last thing that gets budget, because we put the budget on applications, and then servers, and then networking, and then a little bit of facilities, and maybe monitoring, and then security always seems to be last. Well, for IoT to succeed, for it to meet its potential, it's going to have to be a technology that's security forward, where security is actually going to change protocols and standards and communication at the level of me and my mom, right? Like, we're going to have to be able to talk about how to get these devices on in a way that she'll understand. So I look forward to security being a huge part of our daily conversation, and I think IoT is going to be one of the things that drives that.